Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Upswing Report. It's Austin here, and today's video is my best practices and tips on how to successfully work from home. I graduated college in 2014, and ever since then, I've been self-employed and working from my apartment, my parents' house, or other places that are not a traditional office environment. Here are my personal best tips to help you crush it. If you are working a 9-to-5 job or you're working in an office environment, these tips can help you as well. That being said, they're definitely geared towards people working from home. First things first, my morning routine. This is a brief overview, so if you'd like more detail, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll create a whole video on my morning routine. Always starts with me making my bed. And that first might seem like a small thing, and who cares? You're gonna mess it up in however many hours anyway when you get back into bed, but it starts your day off on the right foot. I'll link in the description below. I think he's a general, but he explains the benefit of making your bed every morning. I find that routines oftentimes get boring after a while. However, this is a very quick thing that you can do, and it will set your day off on the right foot. Plus, at the end of the day, especially if it was a hard day, coming back to a made bed just feels amazing. So make your bed. After I make my bed, one of the next things I pretty much always do is drink a lot of water. Sleeping for 7, 8, 9 hours or however long you sleep, your body is not drinking water, obviously, during that time, and so it becomes dehydrated. So you wanna refresh your body and your brain by drinking water. Then the last thing I do is I drink black coffee and I sweeten it with stevia. A couple things that you may have noticed that are discluded from my morning routine are: number one, I generally don't shower in the mornings. Number two, I usually don't eat breakfast. I intermittent fast, and I can link to a video in the description below that explains more about what intermittent fasting is and some of the benefits for it. By not including eating and showering in the beginning of your day, you can start your tasks more quickly and you're gonna have a great focus because of the intermittent fasting benefits. So that all being said, I do feel like getting dressed, especially if you're dressing up a little bit, it helps you feel more productive by not working in your pajamas or whatever you wore to bed or whatever you threw on by sweatpants. You might wanna consider dressing up a little bit more because I feel like that helps your whole energy to become more productive. All right, before I get into the next tip, please smash the thumbs up button because it will help YouTube realize that this video is awesome, and YouTube will promote this video to others so that they can watch it as well. The second tip I have is do not work from your bed. Get out of your bed, have a designated working space. The reasoning for this is simple. If your mind confuses sleeping with work in your bed, when you get back to your bed at the end of the night and you've maybe worked there some of the day, your mind's gonna start thinking, oh, this is a place to be working. But if you separate the work and the sleep, when you go to your bed, you're gonna be thinking about sleeping, and you're gonna have a much better rest so you can recharge your batteries and go after it the next morning when you wake up. So now you have your morning routine done. You have your space set up that you're getting ready to start your tasks. This is the third point, and that is start with your hardest tasks. Andy Frisella is an entrepreneur who I was watching an interview with him, and he had said this term called power list, which is pretty much like 3 to 5 things that you know you should get done that are gonna put numbers on the scoreboard in whatever your business or whatever you're working on. Get that power list together, those things that you probably feel that are hard to do, the things that are the hardest to do on your list, those are the things that you should go after first. There's a book called Eat That Frog, and it pretty much means swallow the frog the first thing in the morning, the hardest thing that you don't wanna do, because once you get that done, just like making your bed, everything else will be kind of smooth sailing from there. You'll probably have a few frogs or a few things on your power list Andy recommends, and I'll link to that video in the description below where you can watch exactly how he explains the power list. There's one more framework that I'm gonna mention, and that is through the One Thing book. And the One Thing book is one of my favorite books I've ever read on business productivity. And the concept in that book is, what is the one thing that you can do now that will make every other thing either easier or unnecessary? I'll also link to that book in the description as well. So last point for number 3, which is starting with the hard tasks first, is to utilize Do Not Disturb. If you have an iPhone, there's something that you can do on your phone called Do Not Disturb. I don't know what it's called on Android, but I'm sure there's that capability. And I have it set every morning from 6 a.m. until noon, where no calls come through on my phone, and basically they just get to voicemail if someone calls my phone. And that helps me really just drill down on my most productive tasks and not have to worry about somebody calling or text or notifications popping up on my phone. That makes achieving the hardest tasks first much easier. Number 4, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is the Pomodoro Technique. And that is a Japanese productivity technique where basically you're working for 25 minutes and then you have a 5-minute break, and you do that cycle, I think it's 4 or 5 times, and then there's a longer break that you can have. You can't always be PRing every single day, every single second of your life. By having those 5-minute breaks at the end of the 25 minutes of focused work, you actually end up achieving more at the end of the day. I have a Mac app that does this for free. It's called Tomato One, and I'll leave a link in the description below. It's not a big deal, you don't need to have an app, but just set those 25-minute timers, take a 5-minute break, and by blocking out these times, it helps you achieve more. So tip number 5 is working out at 3 or 4 p.m. to get your second win. So like I said, normally I don't shower in the mornings, so I can go to the gym at 3 or 4 p.m. after my mind's a little bit fried from all the work that I've been doing and after achieving my hard tasks. I like to go to the gym, clear my mind, and get a second wind after I leave the gym. By getting that second wind, I usually come back and then I get after more of the admin tasks or the things that don't really require a ton of mind power, maybe emails, maybe calls, or maybe even meetings. I usually like to have my meetings not in the morning, again, because that's designated for the hardest tasks, and anything else after my second win, I'll go and get those things done. And another benefit, by working out, you're just gonna have a much more healthier life, and you're gonna have more energy for the rest of your day and even the next morning. So number 6, and the final tip I have for you for working at home, is to have a set end time. Now this is something that I really struggle with. It's hard for me to turn off work because I run internet businesses and I can always be on my phone, always be on my email, and it's hard for me to unplug and kind of have that rest period at the end of the day. I do a good job on Sundays by generally not working at all on Sundays. However, I should have these mini breaks at the end of the day. And I find that when I do say, okay, I'm gonna stop at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever time it is, then the rest of the night I can just recharge my batteries and I feel more powerful when I work the next morning. By having that set end time, it helps me cut off, kind of unplug for the day, so I can recharge my brain and then start the next morning and crush it. Now, like I said, that's something I really need to work on and get better at, and I've seen the benefit, but for me, it's just hard to unplug because I enjoy my work. However, something that forces me to do that is to either have a date set up or hang out with some of my friends, and therefore, I really have to have it done by that point. Also, it helps out with your social life too, so I'd really like to have those dates or times where you're hanging out with your friends set on the calendar so you can just completely shut off and focus on whomever you're with at the end of the day. So that's it for my tips. If you'd like to see a day in the life of an internet entrepreneur, aka myself, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll do a daily vlog of me walking through and showing you how I go about my morning routine, how I work out, how I get my tasks done. So let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that video, and I'll make it happen. All right, so that is it for today's video. I hope you found these tips to be helpful for you. Also, if you have any helpful tips that I missed in this video, feel free to leave them in the comments below so that we can share them amongst each other. Again, it's Austin here with the Upswing Report. That's it for today's video. Everybody keep it upswing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.